Glad to see you all back again. So, now comes the segment on actual melodic sewing as it relates to chord construction. Now, let's first break down the chords that were actually in that progression. So, for starters, the tempo is about 100 beats per minute, funk shuffle, so swing 16ths. So the first chord is a B minor 7 for 2 beats. Second chord, C sharp 7 sharp 9 for 2 beats. Then F sharp minor 7, 2 beats. F diminished 7 for 2 beats. E minor 7 for 2 beats. A7 for 2 beats. D major 9 for 2 beats. I'm sorry, D major 9 for 4 beats. So, the thing that is really important to understand here is the importance of playing over changes. Now, a lot of you probably look at me and see that I play a lot of jazz type lines, and yes, I do have that education. But there is one major point that I differ with traditional jazz guitar players on, and that is how to play over the changes. So, in the traditional bebop school of thought, basically you have to outline every note of every chord. I actually don't think that way. But what I do think is you do need to at least play 1 or 2 notes of each chord, just because they work. There are, of course, other notes that you can imply. They can be consonant, they can be dissonant, provided you know what they are and how to use them. But again, you should at least play 1 or 2 notes that are in the actual chord itself. So, with that being said, let me explain the notes that are actually in these chords. So, the B minor 7, you got B, F sharp, A, D. F sharp, provided you want to play the 5th. C sharp 7 sharp 9. You've got C sharp, F, B, and E natural. So now you think, okay, those are 2 very different sounding chords, but actually they still do have that 1 note B in common. So technically, if you wanted to, you could use that B note just for those 2 chords. And it works perfectly because it's contained within both of those chords. Now after that, you have F sharp minor 7, which is F sharp, A, C sharp, and E. Now again, referring to the sort of connecting the 2 chords, if you relate that with C sharp 7 sharp 9, well, actually there's also the C sharp and the E that are holdovers to the F sharp minor 7. So those are 2 notes you could grab from the C sharp 7 sharp 9 to hold you over to the F sharp minor 7. Now, from there, We got the F diminished 7, that nasty transitional chord. Well, let's see, what do we have here? We've got F, A flat or G sharp, B or C flat, D. Well, unfortunately right there, in terms of linking F sharp minor 7 and F diminished 7 together, you really don't have a lot of notes to use. In fact, you don't have any notes from the chords themselves to use. However, there is a note that is an extension of, well, two notes that are an extension of F sharp minor 7 that you can use to segue into the F diminished 7. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, the F sharp minor 7, you want to add two more notes to it. In this case being the 9, G sharp, same as A flat, and B, the 11. Well, those also are contained within F diminished 7. So those are also notes that you can use to your advantage in terms of segueing from one chord to the next. Then after that, you've got E minor 7, so which is, of course, E, G, B, D. So let's see, you've got the B and the D that are holdovers from the F diminished 7 that you can use anytime to segue into the E minor 7. Then after that, you have A7. So you got A, C sharp, E, and G. Well, the E and the G, those are also, coming from the E minor 7. So you get the idea. A lot of the chords that you played over before have notes within them, usually, at least most of the time, within the next chord. So, if you want to be really smart about it, you can just pick that one note that they both have in common. Now, the dilemma with this, unfortunately, is that A, you have to know what that note is, and B, you have to know how to find it, which of course requires extensive fretboard awareness. In other words, knowing what note you're hitting on what fret at all times. To me, that's a very, very important thing. So that is, another, but that's something for another time. So yeah, the main thing is to basically take notes, that when you're going from one chord to the next, that they both have in common, or even if it's just like usual extensions that they both have in common, and use those to segue from one chord to the next. And if you do that, I think you'll find that your actual melodic transitions work quite a bit better. Alright, thank you very much for watching.